Hey there and Happy New Year. This is Trader Tim from EminiMind. Going to run through my 2025 trade stats. I've got three strategies that I trade throughout the year: the halfway backs, the 1 minutes, and the 15 minute. And I'm going to run through the stats, kind of do a breakdown of how the three strategies worked and compare them to some prior years. I've got made a bunch of notes as I was going through my kind of end of year analysis and some key takeaways that I wanted to share for moving forward into 2026. So I am recording this here the first weekend of January 3rd and going to run through the trades from last year. So we'll start with the halfway back trades. And in the last couple of years, I've traded fewer halfway back setups because I've added in the 1 minute setups. So if I go back to about 2022, I have a lot more halfway back trades because I was only trading the halfway back strategy. And so a couple things to note for this year. The first thing is the win rate. I had a super high winning percentage, which is a little bit uncharacteristic. Typically, I'm in like the 60% area. So I guess that 2023 was also fairly high at 69, but last year, 61%, 2022, 64, 2021, just below 60% at 59, 2020, also up a little bit higher. But that's the first year that I've been in the 70%. Now, the winning percentage is actually less important than a lot of traders think. A lot of folks like to shoot for or try and get a really high winning percentage. And when you do that, typically what ends up happening is you cut your winners early to lock in the profit, tighten your stop too early to, again, lock in the profit for the fear of taking a loss. And then what ends up happening is you have a much lower average winner. So the other interesting thing about this year, I did have a high winning percentage. I also had a pretty high R multiple, close to 3-to-1, which is pretty high for this strategy. If we go back again, 2024, R multiple was actually on the lower side, 1.5. 2023, 1.8. That's a little more common, closer to 2-to-1. Here's 2.1 for 2022. 2021, again, 1.8. 2020 was just over 2. So being around a 60% win rate and a 2-to-1 R multiple is pretty solid for the halfway back strategy. Depending on how you trail your stop, sometimes the R multiple can get a little bit bigger. Because I'm only using a 2-point stop, sometimes we'll get 10, 12, 15, 20-point runners, and that will obviously increase the R multiple or the reward to risk ratio. That's what R multiple stands for. But the notable thing about this year is I didn't have very many trades relative to prior years. So on average, I was about 16 points per one contract on the halfway back trades, and averaged only about 5 trades a month. Whereas if I go back to like 2022, I'm upwards of, over 10 trades a month. 2021 up in the 15 trades per month. 2020 almost 20 trades per month. So again, part of that is because I've added in the 1-minute trades, and so I've kind of split my time, if you will, with that setup as well. A couple other things that I wrote down. So yeah, fewer trades, higher R multiple, a higher winning percentage, but yeah, fewer trades. So since the only 54 total trades, or if we go back to again like 2022, I'm well up over 100, and then getting much higher, 174 in 2021, over 200 in 2020. Over the years, my trading I've kind of shrunk the quantity of trades that I've made. I've become more proficient. I've become better at identifying quality setups, and so I can pass on trades a little bit easier. And one really important takeaway to keep in mind is you want to think about the frequency of your setups. If you have a setup that only gives you 1 or 2 trades a week, then you really need to be there to take all of the setups because they're happening very infrequently. But and you can think about like the 15-minute opening range breakout. That's, a trade that's giving you much fewer setups each week. Whereas if you have a lot of setups every single day and every single week, then you can be a little bit more kind of pick and choosy. You can miss some days and it's not going to hurt the overall data set. If you're swing trading, you can, take fewer trades. You can have a smaller winning percentage because typically the R multiple is going to be higher. So at the end of the day, the expectancy is, kind of what we're looking to increase. Whereas, you can get to a large expectancy, or you can think of it as the average trade. What am I making on an average trade if I include the winners and the losers? And if you have you can increase your winning percentage, you can increase your dollar winner, you can increase the reward to risk, and all three of those are going to help increase your expectancy. But you really want to think about the frequency of the setups that you're getting. If you get 50 setups in the morning, then you can afford to be very, very picky and only take the best setups. But if you only get 1 or 2 setups, then if you miss one of the 2 setups and that was the winner and the second setup was the loser, now your trade stats are going to be goofed up if you can't trade that one day. So that's kind of the 15-minute or the halfway back trades. Other than December, I was, profitable every month, a couple of scratch months in there. But that's really another key takeaway. I'm less concerned about being profitable every day. I don't try and have a profit goal. I don't set a daily target. Even at the end of the week, I don't try and force trades to make $1,000 a week or a certain number at the end of the week. It's more important to be profitable month over month because there's going to be periods, whether it's a few days or even a few weeks at a time, that the market is just not giving you anything. It's consolidating. There just aren't any good setups presenting themselves. And if you force trades during that time, that's how you dig yourself a hole. So I would much rather sit on my hands, be patient, wait for the good setups to come along, and then, take those setups as they come. And so then you'll end up with, weeks or month periods where you have lots of trades, lots of good setups, and it's less consistent week over week as opposed to kind of month over month. And I should also mention that all of the, the data that's in here, all of my trades listed here are for one contract. So I've got some shorthand and acronyms and things like that. I've got some of those lined out here as far as the setup acronym, CT, micro, halfway backs, and things like that. But this number of contracts just annotates that I've divided it down to one contract. The way that I've broken up my trading with the 3 strategies, I will typically trade 6 contracts for the halfway back trade. So that's a 2-point stop, 6 contracts, that's 12 points of risk. Then when I go over to the 1-minute trades, the 1 minute I'm using a 3-point stop. So I'm trading 4 contracts there, and it gives me the same 12 point of risk per trade. And then with the 15-minute, I've kind of gone back and forth between 2 and 3. If I'm using the full candle as my stop, I'll typically trade 2 ES contracts. And I should also note that all of these trades are for the ES. And then if I'm doing the 4-point stop for that 15-minute orb, then I'm fine doing 3 because 3 times 4 gives me that 12 point risk. So that keeps the risk the same across the different strategies, even though the stop sizes are different. So moving on to the 1-minute trades, and you can just see by scrolling through the log, there's a lot more 1-minute trades as you go through these here. Winning percentage a little bit lower, same with last year, closer to 50%. And interestingly, I found this interesting, the R multiple is actually higher, 2.5, roughly on average higher than the halfway backs, but I have a larger stop on the 1 minutes. So a 3-point stop on the 1 minute trades and a 2-point stop on the halfway backs, yet the reward to risk ended up being higher on the 1 minutes. So a lot higher number of trades, and the certainly the average number per month of trades is a lot higher on the 1 minutes, close to 20 trades per month. I do find that there are more setups that present themselves with the hammer and the inverted hammer setups in general in the morning. So that's played into having more frequency of the trades that I take. And then again, positive on all the month, a scratch month in May, but for the most part, fairly consistent month over month. And then, so more trades in the 1 minutes, more points in the 1 minutes. Last year was a bit better, 2024, a little over 400 points. This year, it was a little over 300 points. If I compare the halfway backs, just about 200 points. And then in 2024, actually fewer trades or fewer points, 150. And then going to 2023, a lot more points, 360, 570. Now the 2022 is when I wasn't trading the 1 minutes. So most of my returns were coming from the halfway back. So now they're upwards of 500 points. And then 2020, 780, going back even further, like to the mid-teens. Yeah, you're more up in this 800 to 1,000 points a year. Volatility has come down pretty much since 2008. We really haven't seen that kind of volatility in the 2008, 9, 10, I think 2017 was a year where we had a little bit more volatility. 2022, it picked up a little bit with a little bit more volatility, but not like what we saw, 10, 15 years ago. So all of those things play into, the returns that we're going to get with our trading because, volatility is a huge factor in our trading. So I don't have a ton of takeaways from the 1 minute, just kind of chugging along nice and steady, using a 3-point stop, 6-point target. Whereas on the halfway backs, I'm using a 2-point stop and just trailing the position open-ended until I get taken out. Let's see. Max drawdown was a little bit larger just because more frequency of trades. The halfway backs typically have a very small max drawdown because I have fewer trades and I'm moving my stop once it breaks out. I won't get too much into the nitty-gritty details of the strategies here. You can check all that out at EminiMind.com. But the stop movement is a little bit different than on the 1 minutes. And let's see. I think that's all I have for the 1 minute trades. Pretty happy with the year overall. And then let's go to the 15 minute. Now the 15 minute has really slowed, or not really slowed, I should say, but when volatility was very high in 21 and 22, I had a much bigger 15-minute return at the end of the year. Compared to 2024, it was so this first column is the first direction. So you get a 15-minute candle, the very first 15-minute candle that closes on the day after 9:30 Eastern time. The first break of that 15-minute candle is this first column, those points. So in 2024 is about 275 points. This year, it was only about 220 points. And the opposite, if I get stopped out on the first one, I would take the other direction. And so this year was basically flat. Last year did much better, about 150 points. And I kind of went back and forth this year. I started out using a 4-point stop. I've kept to the 20-point target the whole time. And I started the year with the 4-point stop and the 20-point target. And then when we got to the fall, I thought I had a note in here when I switched. Well, I don't know the exact date, but then I switched to using the full candle as the stop, still with the 20-point target. And in the opposing trade, I always use -4 plus 20. So I'm going to go next year. I'm going to just straight away do 4-point stop, 20-point target. If volatility goes above 25, then I'll go back to using the full candle. But from an ease of putting on the trade, having that fixed 4-point stop is a little bit easier to set up. I've got a couple things in the works that I'll share here in the next month or so. But that 4-point stop, 20-point target bracket works really well to execute, and it helps increase the arm multiple as well. Just because 20 points is 5 times a 4-point stop, you're going to have a smaller win rate. That's probably the biggest standout with the 15-minute orb strategy. The win rate is around 40%, so less than 50%. But you can still do really well on a strategy like that if you can bump up your arm multiple to bring up the expectancy. So, this coming year, 2026, I will use a 4-point stop right out of the gate instead of using the full candle. Both of them kind of end up right about roughly the same P&L by the end of the year. The 4-point stop just has a little bit lower drawdown, and that helps. A lot of people will jump ship at the first weak point or tough week, first period of drawdown. They'll give up on a strategy. So that's if you're new to the 15-minute orb or you're thinking about trading it, I would suggest starting with the 4-point stop. I also had my trading partner passed away this year in March, and we would kind of tag team the 15-minute orb. So if I wasn't there, he would log into my account and trade it, and vice versa. And so that's why if you go up here, I've got a lot more of these didn't trade days, because typically if I couldn't be there to trade one day at least for the 15-minute orb, he would log in and trade. But a lot more holes in my trading towards the end of the second half of the year. So that's what I got for the 15-minute orb. But roughly, you're not taking the trade every single day if it doesn't set up. But for the most part, a decent frequency, 12 trades. And last year, right about the same. Now, I will say one thing I'm experimenting with is taking the 15-minute orb every single day, regardless if there's a gap or not. And that's another reason using the -4 makes it a little bit easier, because the risk is smaller per trade. So that's kind of what I got for you. Nothing super standout-ish for the year, but overall just fairly solid. And again, the halfway back is 6 contracts, 4 on the 1 minutes, and then the 15-minute I did 2 for this year. So with starting the year now, I will take the first week to trade lightly, or to really just observe and not really trade at all, I should say. And so this first week is just kind of an observation week. Get back in that groove, look at the charts, kind of get your bearings, review your notes from last year and things like that, so that we can come into the second week when everybody's back from holiday and rearing and ready to go. So if you have questions, drop them in the notes or in the comments below. I wish you a great 2026, and I'll talk to you all soon.